Hello everyone, in this video I will deal with Lab 3.6.6 from DevNet Associate course from Cisco. And this lab shows you how to parse different data types like XML, Json, YAML, and Python. So this lab will be way easier if you stop this video and search for JSON and XML files if you don't know them yet. I'm pretty sure you will find plenty of videos in your native language. You may need to learn the structure of these files. I believe you need only maximum 10 minutes for this task. Dealing with application programming interface is an essential part through network automation and information or to exchange information between application programming interfaces is done by using this JSON or XML and recently YAML file or YWM. Okay, so learning how to extract information from these files is an important step before learning how to deal with API. Next video you will see an example about API, whereas in this video you will see how to parse these files using Python. Okay, let's get started. So let's return back here. So this is the lab, and part 1, this is the traditional one, starting the virtual machine. And then in the second part we are going to parse XML in Python, and then JSON, and then YAML. So let's start with part 2, which is about XML, and the structure of XML file looks this way, starting with the first line, which is called prologue, and here this one edit config, as you can see, is called user defined tag names. So if we go back to the material, let's go to XML, and you can see here this is like small description about XML, and here this one here is called user defined tag names. And now in this task we are going to extract this information from this file, of course by using Python. Okay, so in step 1, first we are going to open this file, and then we are going to import this module XML E3 element as ET, because the name of this module is quite long, so we use alias for it and it is ET. And then we import a regular expression to deal with the file, with the XML file I mean. And here we are assigning XML variable as ET to parse the file. And then we reach the root here by the method called getRoot. Okay, so since we are here, so we need to reach the root and starting from the root. So for this purpose, we are using the method called match, and we are reaching the root tag, as you can see here. And then when found, we are defining, like we are searching for this user defined tag under the name edit config. And we are using the method find edit config, as you see here in the format, which is ns, this one. Okay, when it's there, so we are going to search for the first value, which is default operation. Also, it is in the edit config dot find, and of course from the root, which is ns. And then we search the same way the test option here by an ns when ns root from the edit config, as you can see here. Finally, we are going to print the default operation contains, and the first one the diff text, which is this one, and the second one test op, which is this one as well. Okay, so let's do this. we are put this one here. I'm going to open this terminal. Let's search first for the file, and it is under Parse. So the file here, my file .xml, and the file that we should modify or write is Parse XML. So first let's see this file. Let's see the content of this file. Okay, so this is here the XML file, and we need to reach to or to extract this one and also default operation. Okay, and let's modify the file parse.xml. Keep in mind that you are free always to use Git, but here I'm going to modify the file directly without using it, or you can make a copy from the original file and then you work on the copy file. So here, for example, if you would like to modify the file and keep the original file that you can return to it whenever you want, you can just copy the file here, for example XML, and I will call it Parse XML .python, and now here I have this file here. I have the original file here, and I will going to modify this file. This way keeps you safe. So if you have any problem here, you have the original file. In case you need only to modify the file, which is already has a code. But here I don't need to modify to do this step because this file is empty, so I will write the code from the beginning, but just in case I wanted to show you. Okay, so I will work on this file and I will modify this file using vim, and as you can see here, the code. As you know, we delete this line and then let's start to write the code. This is the first one. I press I to enter the insert mode, and then I import regular expression model, and then I define a variable called XML equals, or I can just copy this one faster. So this one is to read the file under the name my file XML, as I mentioned, and we assign it to the root. So in this way we can start searching using the root itself. Okay, so here we use the method called getRoot from the variable XML, and now we have to reach to the top of this root. So root.tag group 0, we are now on the top of this file or XML file, and then we search for edit config, which is already in the file, as you can see here. This one, so we are going to search for this one. So that's why when we find this one, then we are going to search for default operation and this option, which both of them under the edit config. So in case this one is there, so you can see now we have an S as the root and we have edit config, and then we search for the default operation, and then we search for test option, And finally, we are going to print this data in this format. So here what we have here the data, and this is a way of using a print function. We put the curly brackets and then dot format, and what will be here will be printed between the brackets, so the brackets will not be there. So the bracket will have the content of div op.text, which is this object, and here is also the same. I'm calling this is object because it's under the dot find, and there is dot, so and it's in the form of object. Okay, so escape, colon, write, and quit, exclamation mark, ls one more time, and then I'm going to see my file that I just modified. Okay, this is the file, and then let's run this file. And as you can see here, this is the output here. The default operation contains marriage, which is this one. The default operation contains, and this marriage, which is the content of div text. So if we will go up to the XML file, this is the default operation, and this is the content, or this is the value, which is marriage, and here is the set, which is this one here. So this was about the XML parsing. Okay, so let's keep going, and let's do part 3, which is about parse JSON in Python. So let's see what we have here again. We have this file here, my file JSON, and we have here parse JSON. Let's see the file. And here what we have, as you can see, there is a key, and here is a value. Also we have a key here, and here have a value, and so on. So let's write this file, let's open the file, this one, and modify it directly here. Okay, so let's see what we have to do. We are going to import JSON. We import also YAML, and then we are open the file in read mode as JSON file, and then we load this JSON using JSON method with this load, and then we have our JSON, and here we have an object. You can deal with it as you want. So let's import these two. Also, let's copy these two as well. Of course, you're free to write them, but just to keep process faster. And finally, we print our JSON. And that's it. Here we have the JSON file. We print it out. Now we add 2 lines here to print the content of this. So we need to print, for example, only this one, and only we need to print this one. So we can print them using this form. So you know now how to use this print format when you put this the curly brackets and dot, and what is here will be printed between the brackets. And here we have our JSON, and then we just give the key value for both of them. Okay, run it again, and we have here these two values. So for access token, which is this one, this is the token is, and for expire in, we have this one, which is this one here. Okay, what we have to do more, so we need to print out the JSON file in a YAML data format. What we need only to put is 3 dashes at the beginning, and we put 2 lines after the previous output, and then we print the data in YAML.dump for our JSON. The YAML is already important in the file. So let's do this. So here we have a YAML module. Again, insert mode. We just print, we put 2 lines, and then 3 dashes, and again we need to print, and as you can see here, this is the output, and here we have the YAML format. And last part, we are going to do the same with the YAML format. So we have a YAML file. As you can see here, we have this YAML file. Let's see the content of this file. This here. So we are going to parse using Python, and then we are going to print it out in a JSON format. And of course, we have this file here to modify. So again, I'm going to use Vim. You also can use Visual Studio. However, you are free to use your own or your favorite editor. Here I'm going to delete this, and then let's do the copy paste again. We are importing the 2 modules, JSON and YAML. I think it's clear. And here we are going to read the file YAML, and we are opening as YAML file, and then we use YAML form module to read the file and put the content in an object our YAML. The YAML save load, and this is the file name. And finally, I'm going to print our YAML. Okay, so here I'm going to print the file, all the file, but here we do the same. So we are going to add these 2 lines to print only a specific values, or this is the key, access token, and expire in, same way like we did in JSON. And now the last step, I'm going to print out the content of this file in a JSON format. So here we are going to do the same. We only put 2 lines. We don't need to add 4 dashes because JSON doesn't have this structure, only it's in YAML starting with 4 dashes, and then we just print JSON .dump our YAML, which is the object, and of course we need to put intent equals 4. Okay, so here we are converting our YAML to a JSON format, and we are printing out. Okay, so now let's save it, and then let's run this file. And here, as you can see, there is the output here. This is the YAML format, and here we have a JSON format. So let's match the output here. So we have access token, then we have this output here, and then we have the output here in this format. So that's all with this lab. Thanks. See you next video.